That was just about what I expected. I know that sounds funny, just watching them on tape and the way they played against SC and kind of how their team fits. Oregon State, I expect they're so big, they're physical. It was really hard to score against them, especially early in the game. And I think our team, just we have no reference point. We hadn't won a Pac-12 game yet, and some guys, their first Pac-12 home game, they went on the road and played some games, and we were trying to glean some positive of it, but reality is you gotta kind of earn it. And I was really proud of a lot of guys' efforts to hang in there and really played well. Not obviously Isaac didn't have our leading scorer was not at his best. He's been sick, but he's proud of him. He went for us, but other guys had to step up and made some big plays.
Excuse me. Start with Oscar, 20 points, and not just 20, but they just came at really opportune times late in the first half and then really into the second half. Kind of seems like he settled you guys and maybe kind of got you going a little bit, helped get your legs under you.
I'll say we had 5 field goals at halftime, and Oscar had 3 and Ruben had 2. So the only guys that scored field goals were our centers. And then I looked down second half, we had 9 field goals, and Oscar had 7 and Ruben had 2. So, yeah, I thought Oscar's funny because he nicked his ankle in that Utah game, or Cato wiped him out, rather. But he's just starting to figure out how good he can be. And when I try to encourage him, I said, look, you've got a really good feel for basketball. He was turning down 15-footers 2 games ago. I'm like, nah. Now he said, shoot them. You can make those, and those are great shots for us. So really proud of him.
And then kind of seemed I made a baseball reference to Oscar and Andre, and they didn't understand it. That was my mistake.
Yeah,
but
wrong countries.
You kind of have Oscar as your starter. He gives you 6 strong. Yaki comes in for a couple good innings, and then Jaylen kind of the closer. Just those two kind of Yaki obviously having 4 threes in the second half, and then Jaylen 6 points in the last 90 seconds with that with the jump shot foul to finish it.
You know what? That was it's good because Jaylen, I've been saying he's a good player. Same thing, going through it, being an experience at this level, but he's just kind of wired. He's got a little nervous energy out there, but like his fight or flight response is good. He got pressure. He goes there and draws fouls, and he hit that was a big timely jumper. You got to have guys that make those plays. And Andre had first half he wasn't close on making those, and I kind of thought to myself, that guy's been good for us all year. And that's what seniors do. He kind of rallied. He knew we needed to make it, and he got his corner. That first corner 3 was huge for us. Got us going.
Kanani did not take a shot, but 4 rebounds, 4 assists, a block, a steal, no turnovers. Second half, he's plus 16. I think when he first committed, you kind of compare him to the Dalen Terry mold. Yep. That kind of seems like a Dalen, maybe a couple more points, but that's a Dalen Terry game.
Yeah, no, I want him to try to, he had Pope on him in the post, and he dropped a nice pass to Oscar. They dropped him like, come on, you got to score. But exactly, he's been rock solid. I think I got to look at that. I thought he blocked Pope's jump shot too in the late in the game there. He did a great job, and actually the guy that I thought Miles did a really good job of turning it around and played really, I think, his best floor game as far as getting us organized. He made some big plays. He hit Jaylen for a wide open 3, and I think he hit Yaki for one of those 3s, and then he had the 2 drives down the middle. So it was just kept us composed there, and that's a big sign of growth when he can, and we need him to. I mean, we need Kanani and him to both play like point guards. I don't care who the point guards, both need to be point guards. So, and then Ruben came in their second half and did good things. We had a lot of good efforts.
For Miles to come off the Colorado game where he turned it over a couple of times late in the game, and then tonight, kind of like you said, to have his best floor game and kind of keep things under control. What does that say about him and kind of the growth he's going through?
It's awesome because he's done that several times in games. He's kind of if anyone knows him, he runs hot as far as emotional guy, and but he's really smart. He has a really good brain, and he's got a big presence. So as he learns to control his emotions and understand, because he'll understand score and clock and time, and in his first year. And we weren't really anticipating just kind of let him play his way into it, but now it's like, no, we need more from you, and got to give up some of your shot attempts maybe to defer to some other people, and that's huge for him, huge for us.
When Oscar is kind of clearing space around the basket and kind of gets that deep, is that a thing where you have to get on your guys hey, look for him, or do they kind of understand naturally hey, let's get to him?
We need to be looking for all those bigs all the time, and they really made a concerted effort, and we've seen it a lot. I thought they're going to double from the top. That's what they did again. Idaho State, they kind of doubled their post from that, but they went with the big double, and we looked a little, the low side. They just kind of wiped out our low post game. That's why we had to go through the high post. But like I said, they made a concerted effort not to let us get around, and they're big around there. So we need to pump it in there. They're good decision makers. Isaac in the high post or Oscar in the high post. They make good decisions from both places. So we got to understand that's where we kind of run our stuff.
And then for you guys to fare a little better against a team with a lot of size, like you guys, obviously coming off the Utah game where they had the most size in the country, is it like a positive thing for you to kind of or see a little bit of size like you guys have and fare a little better tonight?
I think so. I don't know. This league's just gargantuan because I feel like we're big, and then we run into these teams and they dusted off some guys that haven't played all year. Dong played well. He was. I kind of had him buried on the scout. Like I said, we probably won't see him. And then Mars comes in and catches a lob. He's 7'4" man. That it's like, geez, they just keep coming. Beckway is a huge guy. They're just big. Rataj, they're 3. So it's like, and I think Oregon will actually be one of the smaller teams right now. But when they're fully healthy, they're huge too. It's kind of crazy.
With such a defensive slugfest in the first half and your offense scoring pretty much twice as many points in the second, how was your group able to rally and find that kind of rhythm, especially beyond the arc?
I think it was Andre. I really think Andre being our leader, he hit that corner 3, and it kind of we needed someone kind of step up on the perimeter and hey, enough is enough, and he did, and that I think that just kind of relaxed us. And again, we got a lot of guys that hadn't played in Pac-12 games, and he's played a lot of them, and I think that just gives the rest of the guys confidence. He banged a shot, and then that maybe Jaylen, that kind of opened the door for Jaylen to late in the game. Well, Jalen's always on. He's always trying to score.
One more question.
So I believe after the Grambling State game, you were asked about Andre, who's kind of in a shooting slump, except you said you weren't really worried about it. Over the past 2 games, he's shooting 8 of 14 from 3. What have you kind of seen from him these past 2 games? And when he gets it going offensively, what does he do for the offense?
He does everything. We're a little light there on perimeter shooting, and there's a little hard to make them too when he's kind of our main guy. Our 2 bigs are not. I like Isaac threw one up there. I'd love it if we go in. But we got to get some floor space. And Kanani, that's not really his deal. And Miles, it's hard. He's playing handle the ball and do that stuff. So there's a lot of pressure, but he's just he's invested. That's what I told our team. This guy's invested in the program. He's put his time in, and when you work that hard, care that much, I think usually good things happen. And he's persistent. He's determined, and just a wonderful human being to coach and everything. And it's nice to see when those guys make shots.
Bubbly time.
It's bubbly time. Let's go.